In this video, we're gonna find out what the best driver of 2024 is for a golf pro. Okay guys, I want to welcome back to the channel our golf pro for this video, Scott Secor. Welcome back to the channel.
Thanks for having me.
Scott's easily the best golfer that I know. I know that you played on a couple tours. Why don't you kind of just tell the audience where you played your pro golf?
I appreciate the praise. So I stationed over in Asia for about 3 years. Unfortunately got sick, so I came back, played some Canadian tour stuff, and then hung them up right before COVID. Blessing and a curse, I guess, but ironically, I've been playing the best golf I have post pro golf.
It's so true. Like I play with Scott all the time, drives at a mile, has wicked short game, can putt, like you're 65, 64 every men's night. And you just shot a course record at one of the coolest courses, I think, at Wolf Creek in Nevada.
It was a special treat with Papa Seek. So it's just the two of us out on an early morning round. One of those kind of heaven rounds that everything is just kind of clicking.
So what's the course record?
I was 62.
62, 10 under, how are you? Easy game. Thanks for testing drivers with us.
Of course.
I have 7 of the newest drivers for you to test.
Nice.
So even if you might have some bias towards one brand or the other, we're gonna let the data do the talking. Okay, so the first driver I'm gonna give you is the Titleist TSR3. You told me that you were fit previously into a Callaway, Mitsubishi Callaway shaft.
Yep.
So this is a Callaway 70 gram. You play everything at an 8 degree, so all the heads are gonna be 8 degree.
Perfect.
Everything's the same. We're just gonna change the heads. Okay, so we'll get 10 hits of each driver. We'll take a look at the data and then we'll find out which driver is the best.
I'm gonna be tired.
You are gonna be tired. I'll let the audience know too that I typically do these tests myself. I'm working through a bit of an injury. I've got kind of a sore groin that we're working out, but I'm really excited to see you hit the ball. So why don't we get some swings, and you've already warmed up, you've gone through your routine, you're feeling good.
Yep.
So let's start hitting this and we'll get some ideas how these drivers feel.
Cool.
So out of the gate, just a little spinny. I saw you hitting some lower spin earlier. So
Yep.
We'll see how that changes as you kind of get into your session here. If you guys are new to the channel, this is a great time to smash subscribe, where we do a ton of different club reviews, just like this. So out of the gate, some pretty good numbers. We're well over 300 carry, 323 total. The spin's a little up, so I think as that spin comes down, we're gonna notice obviously some further rollout.
Yep.
I'll let everyone know that we are filming in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. We're at Modern Golf. We're using a TrackMan, a Pro V1 RCT ball. The elevation set to Calgary elevation is about 3,400 feet. Yeah, this head, for whatever reason, you're kind of just spinning
Yeah.
a little more than I thought you would. I know a lot of pros are playing the TSR3. I'm pretty sure that's what Justin Thomas and Spieth are playing.
Yep.
Titleist does make a TSI 4, which I could have given you. I thought I just wanted to give you more of what I thought the tour players are using. Talking to the head fitters at Modern Golf, almost no one gets fit into the TSR4. So we'll finish the session anyway, just because we're starting with this, and then maybe we'll see how the other heads stack up.
For sure. I think it takes a couple swings too to kind of get used to the club, especially if you're not used to the feel or length or whatever it may be.
Because yeah, what are you playing right now? You had a Callaway?
Yeah, it's an inch short as well. So that was a decision I made just for feel, kind of putting a bit of a prime on dispersion rather than distance.
I think a lot of shafts are like almost 45.5 inches now. This is 45. The majority of golfers, the everyday golfer, the game improvement golfers, they want to hit it further. Everyone wants more distance. So the longer the shaft, the more distance you can get. But for someone like you with your club head speed, it makes total sense to have it shorter so you can focus on dispersion instead of that distance.
Consistently a little yank.
When you were on these pro tours, are reps approaching you to say, hey, do you want to play my clubs? Here's a free driver. Like, how does it work on these pro tours as far as clubs that you put in your bag?
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely, it kind of starts at the mini tour level. I think that's where a lot of the manufacturers start relationships with different players. And to a point, everyone, if they're going pro golf, they'll have a point where they'll take whatever is free, right? With golf being so expensive and whatever works. And it's quite interesting to see if the biases of the money can affect decisions, right?
Totally. Especially like the pro tours, you guys aren't making a killing, right? It's not like a $3 million paycheck on the PGA Tour.
Right.
So I imagine every bit helps. So someone's gonna offer you $1,000 a month or whatever it is.
Totally.
That adds up in your decision.
It feels a little tingy, like I can feel the spin coming off of it.
Yeah, like you are spinning a ton. It's cool that you can feel the spin. I feel like unless I hit like a huge open face slice, I typically don't feel the ball spin. So it's just cool what you would feel versus kind of more, average golfers. I think that's 10. Okay, so we'll go through that session really quick.
Love it.
So we got 10 hits. You had 2 like right close to the line. This one was like a foot off the line, which is incredible. Do you typically have a draw bias?
I'm starting to try and get that, yeah.
Okay. Why do you want to hit a draw?
So before, I've actually just recently started to hit the driver better, and I was coming kind of across it in more of a glancing blow. But when we change our swing path and kind of come from the inside, it's more of a compact hit. And with that, I do want to see a bit of curve.
Okay, so you had the majority of the balls going where you wanted them to go.
Yeah.
Down here's all of our averages. So averaging 116 club head speed, 170 ball speed. This spin was up, right? We had some really creep up. I didn't see any in kind of like the sub 2500, which with your speed is where we want to be. But I thought overall it was a pretty good session, especially at this accuracy. So we'll have a good baseline. So now we can kind of reference all the other drivers and see how they're comparing.
Cool.
Okay, so we'll go on to the next one. Okay, Scott, the next driver that we're gonna hit is the Taylormade Qi10 LS. LS is the low spin head. For how fast that you swing, I think a low spin head is super optimal. Even the fact that we were in the TSR3 at about 3000 spin, I'm hoping that this head should help bring the spin down.
First looks, it looks solid. I love it when the drivers are actually, it looks like straight down. Like I don't want to see any loft or anything,
Right.
Just mentally. What do you gravitate towards the head? Look-wise.
Everything's different. Like I like to be a data guy too. Like I still have to do my session where I kind of pick the driver that I'm using for this year.
Yep.
But like I've played Cobra, Titleist, Taylormade. It's like really just whatever I have the best fitting session with is what I've been picking.
So I'm obviously yanking it a little bit. To me though, that doesn't honestly really matter today, as we've talked about in previous times we played. What you have that day is what you have, right? As long as it's consistent, I kind of know what it's doing. I don't know if it's the TrackMan, I don't know if it's me. So I'm just gonna keep swinging the way I'm doing it because we're trying to find the data.
I got you.
The heads.
Cool.
And I'm sure you've gone to fittings too, where you've said at the end of it, like, man, I didn't swing well today, or
100%.
something like that, right?
Yeah. One, where we are right now, we're still in our, spring is almost here. We've been suffering through winter, so it's different than when you're golfing every single day. You're playing 5-6 times a week.
When would you say would be the best time to get fit?
That's a really good question. A lot of guys ask me, should I get a fitting first or should I get lessons first? So I think you want the swing to be feeling good. So I think if you are feeling confident in your swing, you could get fit at any time. If it's day one making changes, you're changing your grip, you're changing your path, you're not confident in your swing, I wouldn't say go get a club fitting the next day.
Love it. Good answer.
If any of you guys want to get better at golf, we just launched the New 9 Golf Club. The New 9 Golf Club is an online community for golfers where we help you get better. As soon as you join the New 9 Golf Club, you get a swing evaluation from one of our certified PGA coaches, and within 24 hours, we will turn that around and show you what you can work on in your swing. Inside the community, you also get things like discounts and deals on products. We also do giveaways, so we'll give away bags, drivers, irons, a ton of golf tech. If you guys are interested in joining the New 9 Golf community, I'll put a link in the description of this video. Like not everyone can hit it 325. So like what are some things that you do or you think of to generate power?
Yeah, so some of the things that I've actually recently implemented, a lot to do with structure. So say if I got the ball here, I've seen a lot of people line up with their driver here, but what I've actually done is I've shifted it. So my low point is where my head is, and then I almost try and swing through and think of like an airplane taking off into the ball. I used to struggle a lot with attack angle.
Okay.
Attack angle down on the driver is okay because obviously it promotes the cut, a little bit easier to control, but you're not going to get the distance and the low spin numbers that we're looking for.
That's what I was thinking too. When you're hitting up on the ball, you're eliminating some of that spin. So it's interesting to see that you're working on that because some of the spin rates I find have been high. So it could just be the point in your game where we're working on a new attack angle.
Exactly.
But still, to get 306 carry, 325 total while you're working on stuff, like that's pretty cool. That was a big one. See, we got your spin way down, right?
Yeah.
So at 2,300 RPM, it's carrying 8 yards further and a total rollout 341.
It's a good miss for this 18th at St. Andrews, I guess.
Yeah, good miss.
The one thing I do like about the Taylormade is definitely the feel off the face.
Does it feel good?
Feels a little softer. It feels like a trampoline.
Oh, okay.
That just might be the feeling of the spin too, right?
You're definitely swinging it faster. With the Titleist, you're around like 117. Got to get up to like 119, ball speed going up almost 5 miles an hour. Does it feel faster? Like, does it feel like you're bringing it around quicker?
It does, yeah.
Cool. Okay, there's 10. So the white oval was the TSR3, the Titleist. The yellow is now the Taylormade. So the Taylormade, you can tell you're hitting further. So your average total with the Taylormade was 331 and 322, so 9-yard difference between the two. But the dispersion between the two of them, you're actually at a tighter session. It looked tighter with the Titleist. Pretty close, right? You're very consistent. So you're still favoring that draw side. You didn't have any get over to the right side of the center line.
Yep.
So if you like playing a draw, maybe you'd be consistently hitting the draw with the Taylormade. Between the two, is there one that felt better or looked better?
Definitely the Taylormade, just with the lower spin, I feel like, and that obviously equates to more distance.
Yeah, your spin did come down. So you're averaging 2,800 versus 30. So it came down 400 RPM. There's a couple things that we could do to bring the spin down, honestly. If we were doing like a full fitting, we could play around with the lofts. So even though you're playing an 8-degree loft, we could even go down to like a 7.5, even 7 to bring some of that spin down. I know that your shaft is also cut down, so maybe the shaft is just not 100% what you're used to. There are things that we can do, but for this to just be a start. So let's go on to the next driver and see what the next one looks like.
Cool.
And the next one we are going to do, what are we gonna do? Let's throw the Wilson Dynapower Carbon.
There we go.
Okay, Scott, next one I have for you is the Wilson Dynapower.
Cool.
Have you ever hit a Wilson wood before?
I have not.
They're making a comeback. So Wilson has like really affordable, solid woods. Like when I hit this the first time, I was actually blown away. There's a lot of demand in our YouTube channel. People ask about the Dynapower. So I'm interested to see how a pro hits this, to see if it keeps up with everything else.
It looks good. I like the carbon fiber. It feels light. So I can see why it's popular. Sounds good. A little spinny. And that's been my nemesis, I think, throughout my career, is definitely driver spin rate. Mostly it's due to swing, but I'd be happy to see it around 2,500 or so.
Yeah, I would say where we play in Calgary, the air isn't very dense. You actually want a little bit more spin. Probably still sub 3,000.
Yep.
But that's kind of been the story of the day, right? Is a little high spin. How does this kind of sound and feel compared to the other ones we've hit so far?
Sounds great.
Yeah.
I do actually really like the sound. Feeling wise, it does feel closer to the Titleist, I would say, than the Taylormade for myself.
Like a little firmer face?
A little firmer, yeah.
Well, visually, do you like looking at it?
Yeah, it looks great.
Wilson doesn't offer as many head options as, say, like a Taylormade. So like typically there's 3 head models. I think Wilson there's only 2. I just know that they don't make a specific low spin
Head.
similar to like the Ping or the Callaway and Taylormade.
Yet at least, right?
Yeah. That's okay. So we know that wasn't your best session, right? That's totally fine. That's going to happen. So like looking at your tracers, there was obviously a little bit more dispersion than say like the Taylormade. Taylormade was pretty tight. This one we found was just spinning too much, so there was just too much inconsistency in the head for you. Average spin rate 3,400. So far it was the highest spinning out of everything, and we see that in the results that you got. Let's take a look at your dispersion really quick. So consistent. It was the shortest of all 3.
The widest.
And the widest. So I think it's safe to say we can move on from the Dynapower. Okay, let's get you a new driver. Okay, Scotty, we're moving on to the Ping G430 LST. This is their low spin head. People are raving about Ping this year. I know a lot of people that are swearing by the new Ping. Ping also has the 10K MOI and they're more forgiving driver. But I know a lot of fast swing speed guys are really liking this driver, so I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Cool. Driver looks good off the get-go.
Yeah, Ping has these turbulators. I find Ping visually look the most unique from the top down. Like I find just the crown with kind of those raised bumps and some carbon, and I just find that they look the most unique.
It's almost like you can almost hear it too. Do you notice that?
Oh, do you hear that?
I do, yeah. You can hear it more than the other heads. Do you like a heavier head or a lighter head?
That's a really good question. I think I prefer a lighter head.
Feel like you can rip at it kind of thing?
Yeah, as soon as I pick that up, I'm like, this feels head heavy.
It does.
Does it feel head heavy as you're swinging it? Yeah.
It feels like I almost have to give it a little bit more time to kind of set.
Right,
and go.
okay. Cool, that reps you up. Okay, Scotty, theme of today is spin.
Yep.
And I thought for sure the spin was gonna come down with that one. Averaging 3,200, again, Taylormade 28 was our best one. Everyone else 32, then Wilson's like 34, right? So that high spin is just not gonna help you be as consistent as I'm hoping that you'll be. So we show all again. Kind of right middle of the pack, right? Taylormade was still the furthest with the best dispersion. red, kind of the bigger the circle, the less consistent it was distance-wise, right? So like even Titleist, you actually had really good distance dispersion. But then again, Taylormade was very similar. It was just going further. What's leading the pack right now, do you think?
I think Taylormade's leading the pack right now.
Still there. And Taylormade has like that twist face technology. Everyone has cool technology in the face, right?
Yep.
It's just however your swing's working this day, what head lines up. But it's cool that we got the same shaft. So we're literally just changing heads.
And it's different feels for each head too, which is interesting.
So you said like the pink felt heavier.
Yep.
So maybe your timing was just not where it was on the previous ones.
Exactly.
Or we kind of get a funky miss. But let's go into the new driver. Why don't we try, what else we got for you? Let's go Srixon.
Nice.
Srixon's a sneaky, really good driver. I really like the Srixon, so I'll build that for you. Okay, buddy, next driver I have for you is the Srixon ZX5 MKii LS. Low spin head. This is a sneaky solid driver, man. I really like these new Srixon woods.
Look good. Spinny still, hey? A little loopy.
It's okay though, good spin.
Feels stiffer for some reason.
Really?
Like the head shaft combo.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How does this face feel compared to the others?
Feels good. Feels solid, which I like.
Okay.
Not so much of a tinny feeling. What do you think the biggest mistake is that people do when they go to a fitting?
That's a good question. I think a lot of people try to kill the ball. So I think if a stranger comes in to do a fitting, sometimes they want to try to impress
Juice
a
up
fitter,
little bit.
right? So I think some guys might try to swing a little out of their shoes, which, you get more control variance. So I think if you go into a fitting to really just try to swing like you do on the course, keep it tight, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find a good mix of tight dispersion and distance. And if you're swinging out of your shoes, you're just not going to get good results.
Yeah, that's good advice.
So Scott, what level of pro golf do guys start throwing contracts at you?
I would say at any point where the PGA is sanctioned. I think a lot with the relationships that manufacturers are trying to build now is they start people young. As you can see on social media and stuff, you're starting to see a lot more of that manufacturing sponsored content. That's why I really like what we're doing today is that unbiased approach to it, right?
So I know a lot of guys, like even on the Canadian tour, will get like a ball, shoe, and glove deal.
Yeah.
So let's say FootJoy gives them ball, shoes, and gloves for their tournament season, and then maybe they'll throw them a couple clubs here and there. But it's like they're kind of getting in while they're still in the early stages, and then if they become the next Jordan Spieth, then they already have a relationship with Titleist.
Exactly, yeah.
Gotcha.
And results speak for themselves. So if you're playing well, then obviously people are going to reach out and try and help you out. It's a little left. This has been a surprising one, though. I like it.
Yeah, you didn't think you'd like the Srixon?
No. But there's the danger in having a bias before you're coming in, right?
Totally. Like that was a really good one. 2,700 spin, 313 carry, 337 total, 173 ball speed, 148 smash. Really good, man.
I'll take it. I'll take
I
it.
expect nothing less out of you.
Trying to keep up to you boys.
So you said that one was actually a surprise. You didn't
was.
think you were going to like the Srixon out of the gate.
Yeah, and that's just my own biases coming into the equation, right?
And that'll happen. So spin, we knocked down a couple RPM, 3,000 spin. Ping was 32, Wilson 34. TaylorMade's still the best, the only one sub 3,000. But it was the second best spin for you. Dispersion-wise, you really only had, I think it was your very first one. We popped it up a little bit. This is the only one making that graph bigger than I think it should be.
Yep.
Like I would delete this in a fitting. A 4,000 spinner, 280, like that's just
Outlier.
not normally how you hit it, right?
Yep.
So here, I'm gonna take that out just to see how that changes our dispersion. See how much tighter that got?
Yep.
This guy being out. So this is right in the middle of the pack as far as distance-wise. You had some keeping up with the TaylorMade, one right on the line. So I would say that this is a contender.
Totally.
I would say that so far this and the TaylorMade, we could do further fitting to tighten them both up.
Narrow it down.
Do you kind of agree with that?
I do, yep. I like that.
Okay, we got, how many more do we have? I think 2 drivers. 2 more to go. Okay, Scotty, moving into the Cobra. This is the Darkspeed LS.
Cool.
Talking to the guys at Modern Golf, this is one of the most purchased drivers this year. So I have high hopes for it. I've gotten along with Cobra in the past. Another low spin head similar to the other drivers that we're hitting. Excited to see what you think of this.
Looks great. Love the blackout.
Yeah, it's kind of like a matte black.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the murdered out.
Murdered. But it's interesting how the swing progresses like through the fitting.
Well, what I notice even right now, like your ball speeds come down and
Yep.
club head speed with the Cobra.
Could be tired or it could
Fatigue,
just
yeah,
be
we're
the
getting near the
club,
end of the
right?
fitting for sure. Something I noticed in Scott's swing that a lot of you guys could take away from is his balance. He's never falling out of his follow through. He posts up, looks, is very stable. There's a lot of guys that I see that swing and they do one of those or they swing backwards. So I think in your own practice, if you can work on just like a really solid balance in your follow through, you'll see a lot more consistency. You can go, got the ball speed up there, optimal spin, really good.
It's nice to see if when I swing harder too, that spin doesn't shoot up.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of sub 3,000 spin, which is exactly what we want for your driver.
One more, two more?
One more. Whew. 340, how are you? So I love doing this. So this is our tracer with the Cobra. A couple fades.
Yep.
Probably the more fades that you've had with any other driver. Srixon, Ping, all left. Wilson, majority left. Taylormade left. Titleist, like it. Pretty cool, man. Like you're pretty consistent.
It's cool to see the different tendencies too, right?
Yeah, so let's look at dispersion here. Pretty tight, man.
Yeah.
4 on the line. I know that you like having a draw bias, but I'm sure you'll take dead straight anyway, right?
Hopefully I'm aiming somewhere safe even still.
So like Srixon, you had 1 on the line. Ping, you had none on the line. Cobra, 1 was, or sorry, that was Wilson. Wilson, 1 was close. Taylormade, 1 was close. Titleist, 2 on the line. So you painted the line. I would say that this has been your best dispersion. And how does it stack up distance-wise? It's in the upper third
Yep.
of distance. You had 1 leaky one. But I think the 4 closer to the line will counteract or cancel out that one, right?
Yeah.
So let's look at the actual numbers. Our spin came down, woohoo, 2,800 with that head. 29 with the Srixon, and Taylormade was 2,846. So far, Cobra has been the lowest spinning head, and which for your game, I think that is so important.
That is very nice. It's nice to say that they developed something for that purpose, right?
100%. Like these drivers were built by, I think this was the first driver that Kyle Berkshire, who's the world long drive champion, helped build.
Nice.
So he kind of helped construct what he needed in a driver head, which applies to guys of my swing speed. Anyone that swings fast, I definitely see these results quite often. We have one more driver, Callaway. Let's build that for you.
Cool.
Okay, buddy, last driver. Callaway, Paradym, AI Smoke Triple Diamond. You're currently playing the Triple Diamond, previous gen, in your bag right now, okay. I didn't hold this out to the end. It was just kind of the way that all the drivers stacked up. This should be close to familiar, right? You already play a Triple Diamond. So interested to see maybe if we can gain improvements on your current one, or who knows how this feels, sounds, all that stuff. So you'll know better than anyone going from last year to this year. Big ball.
Like going higher.
Big ball. How's this feel compared to your current driver?
Feels good. Looks the same shape.
Does it sound different? Does
does
it feel
a little
different?
bit, yeah. So I've noticed that they've changed something. I don't know if that's the AI. I'm not too familiar with what they've changed with the face, but it's feeling pretty good. But even compared to the Taylormade and the Cobra, it's, I'd say, a bit firmer.
What would you say is the biggest difference between guys like that you were playing with on the Asian Tour and then guys on the PGA Tour? Your guys' skill level must all be there, but what do you think is like the factor that makes someone PGA Tour versus the smaller tours?
I think belief. A lot of the guys at PGA Tour, they know they're going to make it. I struggled with my own demons playing pro golf, and now that I'm post-pro golf, it's more freeing, and I've had a lot more time to kind of congest, and it's more of an internal game than what people think. I think a lot of people get so focused on external things that are out of their control that they're not really focused on what they can do.
So it's more mental, if anything.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the stress that you must have been going through when you're overseas, away from your family, and this is like kind of a make or break.
Yeah.
So I can imagine the weight on your shoulders to be in that scenario. Plus the cost of doing all of that, right?
Totally.
Travel and tournament entries. And I know a lot of guys that if they don't have a huge financial backing, then it's like, unless you win,
exactly,
you can't make it to the next stage. So I can empathize that. I can imagine how tough that would be mentally.
And I think it just goes from, like you're talking about all these pros and whatnot, Goes from less technical stuff. Yes, they can all hit the ball. Yes, they can all putt. Yes, they can all chip. But it's what do they think about when they're over the ball, before the round, right after. I've had some rounds where I know I'm going to play like crap, and guess what?
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had those days too. It's like we were talking about your course record at Wolf Creek.
Yeah.
You're with your dad. It's just the two of you. You've played thousands of rounds with your dad. And you're not thinking of, I got to make the cut, or I got to make a birdie to do this, or I got to be inside the top money earned or whatever. And I've had some rounds with you or with other buddies where it's like, I just shot 66. Like, why am I not trying to play pro golf? And then I play a real tournament and I shoot 80.
Yeah.
And it's just like the pressure just builds and stacks up. So I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah, and it's how you deal with that too, right? The thing that helps me the most is separating each shot. It doesn't matter what happened before, what's going to happen next. Where am I right now, and what's the best I can do from here to next? It's just breaking it up, right?
That's the definition of new 9.
Yep.
Forget about what happened. Focus on what you can control. Don't worry about the outcome, and just try to be better.
Yep.
That's new 9, man.
It's a process though, because it's hard to go off the gate, like what you're saying. For me, it started with different 9s, like the new 9-hole concept. Then it went to 3 holes, 1 hole, then almost 1 shot.
Wow.
So it's a bit of a progression in what you're kind of comfortable and kind of what you can train. It's all mental, right?
It's large, man. Large. That's 10. You're done. Take a break.
Whew.
Take your glove off. Relax. Okay, buddy. Really good session. Way to finish. The only number that I was really looking at through your entire session with all 7 drivers was spin. Because today we just saw some just get away from you. Even with low spins heads, we were above 3,000. I look at the Callaway, and your average spin rate was 27.79. So you consistently had the lowest spin with the Callaway Paradym AI Smoke Triple Diamond. So for you, out of all those drivers, just based on spin alone, I really like that head for you. Let's look at the dispersion. We were consistently left, right? So we didn't have any right of the line. Consistent. So like on the course, you know where it's going.
Yep.
You're taking the whole right side out of play, right? Cobra, I thought you had a super accurate session, having 4 on the line, where Callaway were left, but I know that you want to draw bias. So if I put this up with all, red is Callaway. So you actually had the furthest drive, this guy way up here, and your furthest ball. Look at that, 316 carry, 347 total, 2100 spin. The next closest would have been Taylormade. That one was 2300, 313 carry, 341 total. So your best between best, you were faster, you were, club head speed was about the same, but ball speed, you got it up with the Callaway.
Yeah.
And keep in mind too, this is your last hits, so you're fatiguing a bit. So had this been in the middle of the pack, who knows how much better that could have performed. So looking at all of this, looking at your tracers, let's look at all the tracers. This is so cool. This is so cool. I just wanted to show this. Here's the tracers with everything. Look how consistent you are, which is just so cool to see. You're about 100 feet left and maybe 40 feet right is your variance of dispersion. This looks like a pro golfer's dispersion. If I'm up here, I'll have one kind of by the fence, by the houses, one kind of by the sheep's field over here, right? And then we've had other, higher handicaps on here that it's impressive to see your dispersion. So good on you for being good at golf.
Thank you.
So good on you for being good at golf. Now is the difficult part, right?
Yep.
So how do we pick one? I think what we would do is we'd pick a couple. So I would say that the Callaway and the Taylormade and you could put Cobra in there.
Yep.
You could put the Srixon in there. I think we could easily eliminate Ping, Wilson, and Titleist. So now, let's say Callaway, Cobra, Srixon, and Taylormade come to you and they say, Scott, each one of us is going to give you a $10 million a year contract to play our clubs.
Yep.
Which would you feel most confident
Is it
playing
just
in tournaments?
driver?
Based on this,
this?
It's just driver.
Based on the numbers and everything, I'd probably go with Callaway based on the feel. That might be a little bit of bias because I obviously play their irons as well.
So I think that if any of those guys came to you, they could hone in a driver to basically get you the same results out of all of them, right? Yep. But we didn't change the shaft, we didn't change the loft, we just changed the heads. So I think today the best driver for a pro golfer is the Callaway Paradym AI Smoke Triple Diamond. Thanks so much for all you guys watching this video. Hope you learned something today. Hope you guys like watching Scotty swing. I sure did. And we'll check in with you guys in our next video. We'll see you later. So Scotty, now that you're no longer competing on the golf course, what are you doing to keep yourself busy?
Yeah, so I've taken what I've learned on the golf course and tried to apply it to wealth and finance. And it's amazing how many different principles can correlate to both of them. Not only help you be efficient on the golf course, but efficient with your money at the same time is really what I'm finding.
Cool. So we'll put a link to Scott's socials if you want help with your finance and your golf game. Scott's the guy to reach out to. Thanks again for watching this video. We'll check in with you guys next time.